Hi, this is Raj. Welcome to another Coaching Mini Insight. Today's Coaching Mini Insight is a super important one, and it was inspired by an actual client of mine who basically triggered this message for me, right? And it's not just him, but I realized how many times this issue, or maybe let's call it a problem, comes up and causes people to actually it actually holds them back, right? It actually holds them back, or slows down their progress, or slows down that journey to them actually getting the result that they have in their mind, right? And so it's really important that you pay attention to this video and really take in this insight and stop yourself from falling into this trap, right? Now, before I share with you what that important key point is, that insight is, Tony Robbins talks about the ultimate success formula. And I've talked about this before in my other video, right? And the ultimate success formula is basically know what you want and why you want it, right? You got to know exactly what you want and why you want it. The second step is basically go take action. Not just take action, but you got to be taking massive, so it means great amounts of intelligent action, right? Action alone is not enough, because if you're just doing a bunch of random actions that are not going to get you towards your desired result, then forget about it, right? It's got to be intelligent, well-aligned action, right? Step three is to notice, right? What feedback, what outcomes are you getting from that action? So you put out action, you put out intelligent action. Now, what are you getting back? Is that action moving you to the result you want or not? And it's not, well, then step 4, what do? You change your approach. Yeah, you got to change your approach. I think it's Einstein that said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? So you don't want to go fucking insane. You want to be smart. You want to be intelligent. If what you're doing is not getting you back any progress, specific progress towards that result, you've got to change approach. Now, here's where the key insight comes in. Way too many people, right? Way too many people change their approach too soon. Write that down or glue that into your head, because that's the trap you don't want to fall into. Way too many people change their approach too soon. Now, what does too soon mean? So how do you know when you're supposed to stop doing that thing you were doing, or putting in effort into that pathway, that approach? When do you know? Great question, and very tricky also. Hence why having a coach to go back and forth that, brainstorm and ideate and refine and evaluate the feedback that you're getting from the action, having a coach to do that with you is super valuable. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to tell you to go hire a coach. What I am here to do is present you with the awareness that you got to basically be gauging that feedback. But at the same time, if you change your approach too soon, chances are not going to give enough time for the momentum or whatever to build up. It's like, let's use a really simple metaphor. You wanna grow some fruit tree. Let's say you want to grow a papaya tree or mango tree or whatever tree, right? That's going to give you some fruit. And you get a bunch of seeds. Okay, great. You're intelligent, right? You get a bunch of seeds and you say, what else? What other intelligent? Well, I got to go get some good soil. That's important too, right? If you want good fruit. So I'm going to plant it in the good soil. And then what do? You got to take more action, intelligent action. You got to water it. You got to make sure there's enough sunlight, or depending on the nature of the plant or the fruit, enough sunlight, right? Not too much, not too little, I don't know, right? So great, you've done all the intelligent action. Now, if after 2 weeks you say, fuck, this isn't working. I don't know if this is working. There's nothing coming out there, right? Or after 1 month you say, it's not growing fast enough. I'm going to change approach. This plant doesn't work. I'm going to plant something else. So you completely change path. We're not just talking about changing approach, but a lot of people are completely changing a big direction in approach. Does it make sense? There's approach A and there's approach B, and they completely change approach. So they go and try to plant something else, or they completely change soil and they put the same seeds in the soil. But the fact is, the truth is, You didn't give enough time to the seeds to even grow. For that effort you put in, for that soil, for the water, for the rain that has gone into the soil and the seeds to even start producing anything. So obviously you're not going to see the fruit of your labor. And I've seen this happening so many times. And by the way, I've made this mistake so many times too. And it's a very tricky process to know how long to go in a certain direction with a certain amount of effort, with a certain amount of action or type of action before you decide it's the right time to change approach. I'll give you another example. In 2019, right, I basically made a few changes, let's say in my coaching business, okay? I made a few changes in my coaching business, and I was very intelligent. I was very strategic about it. I didn't go like crazy and say, I'm going to change a whole bunch of things. No, that would be stupid. And whatever change I made, I tracked. So I made 4 strategic changes, right? Some of them were how I do the sessions themselves. Some of them were about me, what I needed to improve myself. Some of them were my systems, my coaching systems, and how I'm tracking and measuring progress. So I made 4 strategic changes. Now, to cut the story short for you, here's the key point. I made 4 changes and I started implementing, right? I started implementing and consistently. And boy, by September, I was looking at my numbers and the results I was getting. So a good 8 to 9 months after I made those 4 changes, I was not seeing the kind of results or feedback or outcome that I wanted, that I thought, right, that I thought I would get from those 4 changes, from that type of action, from that direction. And by September, I remember beginning of September, I was getting a bit doubtful. I was like questioning, and I was asking some pretty crappy questions, right? Oh, is this working? Why have I been wasting this time and effort in this direction on these things if they're not giving me the result I thought I would get? And obviously, questions like that create even more doubt, create even more uncertainty. And what are you likely to do? You're likely to stop doing what you were doing. Now, here's the key point, which is what this whole insight is about. Thank God I didn't stop. Thank God I know this thing in my head, right? I know this key point, this key success insight, which is you got to give it enough time. And depending on the project or the goal or whatever you're trying to build or create or achieve, the bigger it is, sometimes the longer you got to go in a certain direction, the longer you got to put in that same action and same effort without seeing anything major or anything even minor coming back to you that gives you the evidence that you're going in the direction. That's just the truth, right? And you got to deal with that. If you want to go for big fucking goals, you got to deal with it. And I don't know, it just comes down to the F word, right? You got to have fucking faith. 2 Fs, yeah? Fucking faith. You got to have faith. It's got to be intelligent action, but you got to have faith. Because the results are not going to show for a long time. And by applying that same strategic 4 changes and action consistency, mid-October, shit started to align. And when they started to align, it's almost like I was just building momentum. And once the wheel got smooth and big enough, oh boy, it was just this snowball going down this mountain. Just getting bigger and bigger. And so the results started to come in. And when it started to come in, the progress, the results didn't come in linear, right? They just like started to come in slowly, almost like I was doubting around here. It was so slow, right? Progress and results were so slow. Around this point, September, I was questioning, I was doubting. But once they kicked in mid-October, boom, exponential growth, exponential results, exponential progress, exponential increase in income. All right? Super, super important. The bigger your goal, the bigger what you're trying to create, your dream, your whatever, your mission, you got to give it enough time. If you back out too soon, trying to pervert this concept of, oh, I got to change my approach, you're going to fuck it all up. Plain and simple. You are going to give up too soon. And this guy, he said, hey, I'm not giving up. I'm changing approach. Great. Go ahead, quote Tony Robbins, right? Like, I love you, man. But the thing is, you're giving up too soon. Because the goal you want, this project you have is so huge. You got to be realistic of how long it's going to take and how long you're going to have to put in action. And the fact is, you got to ask yourself, did you even put in intelligent action? Did you even put in enough intelligent action for long enough to see the kind of feedback and results that you thought you wanted to get? So you can't change your approach too fast. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. And then, 6 months, 1 year later, you'll give up and say, maybe I'm not meant to do this. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't my destiny. Maybe this isn't my fate. Bullshit. It is your fucking destiny, but you got to be smart, take intelligent action, and take it long enough. Not change your approach too soon, right? I hope this has been tremendously valuable for you. Please don't make this mistake. If you're the type and you've also set big goals, give it enough time. Change approach, yes, that's smart, right? But don't change approach too soon. Okay, and if you need help, this is what I'm here. I do this day in, day out, right? I coach people and I help them make better decisions, basically. I give them perspectives. I help encourage them. I help inspire them. I help them keep the faith, so to speak, right? As long as it's intelligent action, you've got to keep going long enough, all right? If you have any questions, please comment or PM me. Some of you direct message me rather than post in the comments. That's fine too. And please share and like or subscribe wherever you're watching this, all right? Comment your distinctions or whatever it is, okay? You commenting or sharing and liking my videos definitely helps keep me going, but also helps inspire other people to see more of it because it increases engagement so more people can see it too. All right? This is Mahindraj with you with another coaching mini insight. Go create and live the life of your dreams.